I'm now going to explain how to use the latest devices, which includes the ENS and the ENS Plus, which are otherwise identical. And in fact, this is how most of the more advanced devices work in any case. So the first thing is there is a possibility just by putting it on the skin that the device will wake up and start to treat. And as you see, that's happened in this case. This is the ENS Plus. And the reason that's happened is that there is enough moisture on this. Now that won't happen if your skin is too dry. And if that's the case, we need to start to look at the two buttons on the side of the device. Now, if that doesn't happen, we need to look at the two control buttons on the side of the device. So it's incredibly simple and easy to use in its basic form. You can wring much more out of the device if you follow the Keep Health Mastery training course, but this is designed to get you up and running immediately. So we can switch it on by pushing the button on the back. What we've got is a button, and towards the front, we've got a scroll wheel as well. So it turns on, and you're going to see the screen like this. So now we're going to look at the settings, and for that, we're going to go to the scroll wheel, and a single press on the scroll wheel opens up the treatment modes. And very helpfully, if we scroll the wheel, what we see is that we've got the top menu settings, first of all, here, and everything is also labeled. So we've got Scanar, Cosmotic, Cosmotic Plus, ENS, and fully automatic. So I'm recommending fully automatic for most situations. When we select that, again with another single push on the scroll wheel, we now have normal, automatic, we have massage modes for head, body, and legs as well. We'll go into that later. But generally, we're looking at fully automatic and normal mode. And again, a press will select that. Now we're going to look at the energy levels. And for that, we're going to use a double click on the scroll wheel. And that opens up the energy settings here. And what you see then is manual, which is where you select the level of energy through the treatment and you adjust it using the scroll wheel on the side. Then you've got A1, which is automatic and minimum, which is for young children, babies, etc. A2 is the normal treatment mode for treating adults. And A3 is generally used if you have very dry skin, so the device has difficulty making an electrical connection with the skin, or for Alzheimer's. So for this purpose, we're going to use the easiest route, which is auto medium, A2, and we're just going to select it. And now, ready to go. So if I have a shoulder pain, for example, I can now put the device directly onto the point of pain, and I can treat. And in fact, what I'm looking for here is to achieve something called the dose, which is an adaptive reaction from the device. So let's have a look at this screen. We're interested in this top corner here. And what you see is a spinning circle and a growing green dot in the middle of it. And you've got two numbers next to that. The top one is constantly going to change up and down. That indicates the number of reactions of the body at the time of treating. We're going to ignore that at the moment. We're really interested in the bottom number, which is called the dose. And the dose indicates when an adaptive reaction has occurred from the body. And as you see, it goes up, but in stages. It will stick at various levels, and then it will head up again. And when that reaches 100, the green dot in the middle, which is still growing, will go to 100. And when it reaches 100, there will also be a particular sound signal. That doo-doop signal happens at the same time as the dot fills in, and the dose number reaches 100. And that now tells us that we've made an adaptive reaction to the body. Now, at this stage, we can continue with our dose on the same spot, and we can actually go for something called the double dose or the zero. And all that that means is that if you keep on treating, you won't make any further effect. You've made the most effect you can on that spot for the moment. So there's no point in continuing treating at that point, and the double dose is indicated by a trill ring sound. So that's the first way. So that's the first way of treating. Now, it's a good idea to calibrate before and after the treatment. So if you've got your shoulder problem, then you need to consider how much pain you've got, whether it's painful in a static position, or if it gets much more painful when you move the shoulder. If it does, give the pain a number out of 10. After your treatment, have another calibration. Do you have greater range of movement? Do you have less pain? We want to see that we've made a difference immediately. If we don't have enough of a difference, we can now treat the mirror point on the other shoulder. And we go through exactly the same process again. After that, we calibrate again. And after that, if we still want to make a difference, then we can then put the device, these electrodes, on the point in between on the spine. So not through the shirt, directly on the skin. And then we can calibrate again. So that's route one for treating things like injuries. Now, for chronic illnesses, it's a very different matter, and you really need to get the Keep Health Mastery course. And in fact, that would be well advised if you want to get the very best out of these devices. So what if we have a problem such as sciatica, where the pain goes down the backside and the leg, but it's actually caused by a back injury? Well, then we have a very fortunate way of using the device, which is the fact that the body is built as a fractal. It has repeating patterns and nerves that are interconnected. And in this case, we can treat the area indirectly. And the way that we can do that is with an arm brushing. Although you can brush anywhere, an arm is a particularly convenient point for this. So an arm brushing, simply we brush all the way up and down the arm. We press this onto the skin. We set the energy so that we can feel it and it's stimulating, but it's not too much of a problem. And then we brush. And holding the same pressure, this is now not moving, whereas it was moving nice and freely on this area. So it's the same pressure. Now, it often will occur around about this point on the inside of the elbow, but it's not always the case. And you should also note now that the sound is getting louder over this point. So we've got the sound, we've got the stickiness, and in fact, the more I rub, what you'll see is this is starting to become red around these areas as well. So this is indicating a great treatment point. Now, if we have a smaller point somewhere else on the arm, we can treat the smaller point first. But very simply, once we've identified these points, we can put the device bang in the middle of that area. And again, we can wait for it to dose or to double dose. If our red area is bigger than the size of the electrodes, then we have a choice to treat both areas one at a time so that we cover all of the area. And that, believe it or not, will greatly relieve or resolve things like sciatica immediately. In effect, we're picking up the connection to the biggest amount of nerve inflammation going on in the body at that moment, and we're directly connecting to that nerve wherever it leads to, and we're treating on that point. So this is a very convenient and very accurate way to treat the body. I'm only going to teach you one more way to use the ENS today. And so for this, we're going to go back to the treatment modes. And now we're going to select the sub mode and we're going to choose one of the massage modes. So we're going to choose B for body. We're going to select that. Now I'm going to set it into I'm also going to set it into manual. Click. And one of the main areas of the body where we can apply massage, where a lot of stress and tension arises, is here, right in the corner of the shoulders, and in fact all over the neck and shoulder area. But this is a particularly powerful point because we can also stimulate the vagus nerve, which is connected to the parasympathetic nervous system and the healing responses of the body. So I've got the device with the same treatment modes, except I'm using a massage mode this time as the sub mode, and I've set it to manual because now I want to set a good stimulating level of energy. I'm putting it right into the corner of the shoulder, and I'm scrolling up the energy so I can feel the impulses quite strongly, and it's quite pleasant. And we need to be aware of this because when these muscles do unlock, as you've seen, you can get quite a rapid movement from the neck and shoulder area. And what we want is about half a dozen nice, smooth movements, because this is not exercise, it's relaxation, it's massage. So that's all we need. Very, very quick and easy. It can take a minute or two for these muscles to unlock and start to move. So just keep with it, and then you'll feel the muscles start to move. So I've had about half a dozen nice, smooth impulses from there. Now I'm going to move into the corner here. I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm scrolling up with the energy. Feel that quite strongly now, but it's not painful. These are involuntary reactions from my neck. And you can massage all around these areas, including the shoulders, and it will instantly relieve stress and tension. It will help with emotional blockages as well. And that's also another great way to treat. So you've got a very, very powerful, sophisticated device here. It's actually extremely intuitive and easy to use. And that's how you can get up and running with your Cosmotic or your ENS or your slider very, very quickly, using the automated features, including the energy itself, the level of energy, which is like the sound level of an instrument, and the type of energy, the type of impulse, depending on what you're dealing with. But the best option is fully automatic. Thank you for watching.